I'd like to thank all the investigators that are involved in this. They have worked around the clock, all day yesterday, through the night last night. Investigators from the State Bureau of Investigations, from county, from city agencies, the university, our federal partners with the FBI, the ATF, and many others. Those are just a few of the people that we have involved in this. I'd like to thank all of them for their strong work. Through all that work last night, we were able to make a few breakthroughs. We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., this subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. Our investigators have worked through those neighborhoods, contacting anybody they can with doorbell cameras, witnesses, and have thoroughly worked through those communities, trying to identify any leads. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we are confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately. Last night I communicated with Erica. The family's devastated. As a commissioner of public safety, as a father, as a husband, I can only imagine what that family's going through. The heinous event that happened yesterday is not Utah. This is not what we're known for. Over the past several weeks, we've seen this state come together to help families in mourning, come together as a community to show what Utah is known for a state of character, of service, of camaraderie, of a neighboring feel. We will not stand for what happened yesterday. We are exhausting every lead. We have every officer invested in this, every investigator, every local agency. The outpouring of support from the law enforcement community has been astounding. We are investing everything we have into this, and we will catch this individual. Having walked through the crime scene, through the hallways of this school, through the classrooms, I can't imagine what the people on scene felt as well. A horrific event where some of them barricaded in classrooms, some of them ran in fear. Can't overstate the tragedy and the horrific event that yesterday was, and how we will work to bring to justice the actions of one individual or any other individuals that assisted in that. Our state has gone through a lot, and we will come out successful. With that, I'll turn the time over to Special Agent Bowles in charge.
Good morning. My name is Robert Bowles, and I am the Special Agent in charge of the Salt Lake Field Office. Following yesterday's tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk, FBI agents have been working around the clock in coordination with our law enforcement partners. We are and will continue to work nonstop until we find the person that has committed this heinous crime and find out why they did it. This morning I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. The FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis. Now, I understand there are a lot of questions about motive. I assure you that all leads, tips are being fully investigated. As of this morning, we have received more than 130 tips. We thank the community for that. The FBI has brought every resource to bear, and we will continue to do so throughout the course of this investigation. The FBI's mission is to protect the American people. It's to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Any attack on the First Amendment is an attack on the very foundation of our democracy. That is why we will relentlessly pursue this case and the shooter until we find him. We also continue to grieve with the family and the community. It's our community. If you have any video or images from the shooting, we ask you to please submit them to our digital media tip website at www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley Shooting. You can also call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. We truly rely on the public's help in these types of cases, and no tip is too small or insignificant. Thank you.
We are listening to state and federal officials brief the media here, and we'll keep our ear on this, see if we elicit some more information here. But some big developments. Tom Winter's here with me. First of all, they found the weapon, they believe, a high-powered rifle, footwear imprints, forearm imprints, and most crucially, perhaps, Tom, video that they describe as good video of this suspect that they are not yet releasing.
That's right. It says to me, and based on what we heard from Utah's director of the Department of Public Safety, it appears that they're going to use some technology, as he put it. I think we should look into that and say probably facial recognition.
Let's listen to see if we get a bit more here.
We're not releasing many details right now, and we will soon. But right now we're not. But that individual appears to be of college age. We are confident in our abilities to track that individual. If we're unsuccessful in identifying them immediately, we will reach out for the public's help and the media's help in pushing those photos. That was a new development overnight, working through the night, studying those cameras. So that's something that's new and that we're working through right now. As far as the security, I cannot speak to that. Neither the Department of Public Safety nor the Federal Bureau of Investigation was involved in the planning or security of this event, and that'll have to be a question later for other agencies.
So that's a good question, and it's a question that goes to the safety of the community, right? No, not in those woods. We've walked through those woods and secured it. As to the community, I can tell you that this was a targeted event. We don't believe that the community is at risk. However, we are exhausting every resource to find him, and we will do so.
With the BBC, from the images you have, can you see clearly the suspect's face? You say he was college age. Do you believe he was from this university? And how far do you think he may have gone in this time?
So I can't comment specifically on his face or any details such as that, as it's continuing to be a part of the investigation. And again, we'll release that shortly. However, we're doing everything we can to find him, and we're not sure how far he has gone yet, but we will do our best.
But you have a clear image of his face?
We have images of the suspect.
Can you trace the gun owner?
That you've been able to recover, do you believe you know who this person is, the person that you're looking for?
Again, as part of the investigation, we're not releasing any details such as that right now. We are exhausting all of our resources to be able to collect those, but that's, again, part of the investigation.
Have you been able to trace back the owner of the gun?
Excuse me?
You said you found the weapon. Have you been able to trace back the owner of that weapon?
We are working on that, but again, part of the investigation that I can't release.
There's been a lot of turnover at the FBI. Do you think that's impacting the...
Not at all. We've got complete and total support from everyone, from the director on down, and it's been an incredible supportive environment so far.
Are tweets like the one yesterday useful, though, where we announced that there's a suspect?
All I can say is that we're working the investigation the best we have with the environment we're given. So thank you.
That's all the questions for right now. Thank you, everybody.
Right, so a lot of revelations there from the officials in Utah briefing on the assassination of Charlie Kirk, conservative commentator. The biggest point to note is that the suspect is still at large. However, Tom Winter, who joins me now, they've got some pretty big leads. These are major developments. They've got what they consider to be good visual of the suspect in terms of some kind of surveillance video and the weapon. And that potentially could be a big lead in terms of identifying.
100%. This isn't somebody that phoned in and said, well, I might have a relative, somebody's missing. All that information can be helpful. This is derived by evidence. So a couple of key things here right now. They've found the weapon that they believe is responsible for this, that the shooter used. So that could be used to trace back to who purchased that. Is it, in fact, the shooter themselves or other information that can be helpful with respect to tracing that? You know that that individual no longer has that rifle. That's also important information to know. The big thing is backing it up. They have a timeline. They know when this person got on campus. They're able to track this individual, according to officials there, through the stairwells, up onto the roof. They know he jumped off of the roof and started to flee into a neighborhood. And they mentioned there the Ring cameras. That every house now kind of has some sort of a camera or surveillance thing, and typically to track who's at your front door, who's dropping off packages. But it can be key. And we've seen this time and again in investigations over the last year, 18 months, where that type of what's called a video canvas, going literally door to door, shoe leather detective work, can find images, and you can really track where somebody is. They said good images. They did not answer whether or not they have a shot of his face, but then they mentioned technology, Savannah, as we were discussing earlier. Sure sounds like they want to use some facial recognition and other tools to try to be able to find this person before they do anything else.
And what they didn't say is that whether or not they know or have a good guess as to the identity of this individual. They're clearly not going to tell the public at this point as they're working this case. NBC's Morgan Chesky at the scene of Utah Valley University is seeing that of college students shaken, the school closed for the rest of the week, and yet the officials are saying it's not considered a threat to the community because this is a targeted attack, Morgan.
Yeah, Savannah, they're calling it a targeted attack, and they say that right now they don't believe this community at large is at risk from that shooter that opened fire just yesterday at, again, 12:20. And I think what's so striking here, Savannah, is the fact that we can now piece together this timeline somewhat. He arrived on campus at 11:52 a.m. A student I spoke to last night, Savannah, said that this amphitheater where Kirk was shot was just on the other side of this building behind me. He said that this event, whether you liked Kirk or not, or agreed with his politics or not, was well known across the entire campus. There were signs up advertising his speech. He thought about going, but he said he had studies to do at the library. But even he heard that shot and then looked up and saw this mass exodus of students running by the windows. He himself, once he realized what had happened, fled as well. And that was just kind of one story of so many we heard yesterday from these students describing essentially that pandemonium when that single shot was fired. And now to know that we have video of that gunman leaving that rooftop perch, leaving this campus, it will only go towards building this case going forward and hopefully bringing this individual that authorities described as looking college age into custody.
Morgan, thank you very much. I know you'll be right there on campus waiting other updates. I would turn to you, Tom, as we close here, because this was a shot taken from a distance of about 200 yards, a high-powered rifle, we now know. But one would think that that takes some training and experience.
Sure, it's a bolt-action rifle, so it's not something that you would pick up and necessarily just fire. But given that type of a weapon at this distance, if you did have that training, Savannah, and had some sort of proficiency, you would be able to fire from that distance with that accuracy. It just speaks to the planning this individual did.
This is very much an ongoing investigation. The suspect still at large, but officials in Utah updating the media and the public this morning that they do believe they have a good image of the person they are looking for, as well as having recovered the weapon. We will continue to follow this story. There's more on our streaming channel and on NBCNews.com. Most of you will return now to the Today Show. I'm Savannah Guthrie. This has been an NBC News Special Report.